Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show on our YouTube channel. Please don't be shy with the liking and or the subscribing if you can. Join me to look ahead to Saturday's USC Clash at the Aviva as someone making Harping Pod appearance number 109. Welcome back to Mr. Neil KEEGO KEEGAN.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is. It's been such a Monday of a Friday that I didn't have time to put my contact lenses in. So good to see you.
There you go. Okay, well, before we start, KEEGO, just like to get your thoughts on the retirements of three Irish legends announced during the week, Messrs. Healy, O'Mahony, and Murray.
I thought I was ready, but no, this is part of your childhood moving on, you know. They become part of the furniture, and all of a sudden the furniture's gone. But when you look at the shift they've done, and you look at the form they're in currently, even you look at Conor Murray, who had for in green for the last 2 years, he has been playing back to his normal self. O'Mahony's just a ridiculous human being, and Cian Healy, don't know what they've built him with. Like I'm happy that they're retiring on their or moving on their own terms. I know Murray's going to go on a holiday for a year and make a bit of money, which is great. But they're retiring relatively healthy for rugby players. Back to the couch, back to the back garden for O'Mahony, and yeah, I think we'll see them on the screens. Not Healy, but I think the other two will be on screen at different points as pundits. But what a shift they've done in every single jersey they've worn.
Absolutely. I mean, we started Harping on Rugby as a humble little season ticket holders blog back in 2008, and Cian Healy or Church or whatever you want to call him, he's the last link to that time. He was just starting for Leinster then, and was part of the team that won the Heineken Cup that year. I mean, it's amazing. But the three of them, I mean, they're all household names all over the rugby world anyway. And this is I like the timing of this announcement. First of all, they're all together, they're in a group, but they've still
Yeah,
got a lot of part to play in this Six Nations campaign, and they'll get an awesome send off at the Aviva next week, their last home game next week as well. So here's hoping that there's a bit of success for them as well when they finish up in green. We'll just have to see.
absolutely. Cheers,
Okay,
lads.
yeah, indeed. Now it's time to look at our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Leinster v Cardiff in round 12, the 24-25 BKT United Rugby Championship. The game is taking place at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday, March the 1st, kicking off at 3 p.m. TV coverage is on RTE2, Premier Sports 2, URC.tv, and, of course, Chanel Pedwar Cymru, yet again, same as last week. Leinster named their match day squad at lunchtime on Friday. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there in the screen, or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Now, KEEGO has picked up some points about the Leinster team, starting about the fact that there's still no Barrett in it.
Still no Barrett. So I'm bringing the kids in tomorrow, and I've been telling them about Barrett, who he is, where he is, why he's here, all that sort of stuff. And he'll be probably sitting beside us. So yeah, it's a pity, but I think the squad in general is it's a squad team as opposed to a team. Yeah, it's a bit of cheekiness in there, which we'll talk about in a sec. I love 4 and 5, Mangan and Deeny, really athletic, really young, big boys, big units. And Jack Boyle in there at the front as well. It's great. And then Jimmy O'Brien, Osborne, all these names that we know, they're now being set to be leaders in that squad. So it is really great to see. And obviously Luke McGrath, 115 years of age.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Barrett, I think is an important point to make about just overall Leinster season. People might look at the URC table and say, "Oh, Leinster miles ahead." The odd game here and there doesn't matter. I mean, we need to keep going until the end of the season. Every game, every point is crucial. We want to get that as home advantage, and we've got this. Cannot forget our next two matches after this are against South Africa. They're against the top two South African teams. Who are playing, who have had a full run of matches since January. The squads have been kept together. They've been playing at home down in South Africa in the sunshine. They've been, so no Six Nations taking players away. We have to play the Bulls and the Sharks. And so hopefully we'll have Barrett for that, and we'll have all our NIQs for that. So if they're resting him with the view to bring him to South Africa, absolutely no problems with that at all. That's when we're definitely going to need them. Your second point is about our second row.
Yeah, so as we were talking there, I think it's a great piece of responsibility being put on the guys, Mangan and Deeny. They're big, they're strong, I think they're ready to rock and roll. Like and Cardiff will be looking at that saying, who are these kids? Because Cardiff are going to do what they're going to do. Wales are where they are, but again, anytime you're playing Leinster during the Six Nations, it's a free shot. and that's where they're going to be aiming. And I think the lads are they're going to learn a lot. They're going to perform really, really well. I think keeping it simple, line outs, things like that, get on the ball early, and I think they're really going to perform well.
Absolutely. I mean, because a lot of these players were involved in that A International last weekend
Mm-hmm.
as well. So, Tommy O'Brien, Jimmy O'Brien, Max Deegan was the skipper, and there's a lot of names throughout there. So it's still a quality lineup. But there are some new names as well on the bench. We've got Oliver Coffey, scrum half, getting his first cap if he comes on, and Alex Soroka's younger brother Ivan as well. Starting at Loosehead. So it's interesting. The week we're talking about Church retiring, we've got a new Loosehead starting as well, and Jack Boyle as well got his first cap last week, and he's starting. It's a strong front row. For us in comparison, so we probably need them going a fair whack through the game. And the front row is your point for your third point as well.
Yeah, we're being cheeky again. I know I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I think, and they're right to do it, obviously. But Slimani's starting. They're going to keep him out there for as long as they can. They might even try and make the game go for 90 minutes and keep him out there. It is cheeky, but again, as we said before, when Sexton was over in France, there was no question that he wouldn't at least fly back and take part. So yeah, it is. It's cheeky, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the rules are what they are. I mean, I mean, you could argue that France were cheeky calling him up,
Yeah,
to have to send him back and forth. But we're still selecting. We definitely do need him. He's been absolute immense. I mean, there's still no sign of Tyke Furlong coming back,
yeah.
so we're going to need him for the knockout matches to come. So he's been putting in a great shift, and like I say, he's part of a strong enough front row there as well. And of course, the back row, Alex Soroka, Will Connors, and Max Deegan. I mean, there's a lot of quality there. Soroka's been in fine form this season. Great to see Connors back, and of course, we're calling this team now with Reese Ruddock having gone. This is now the Max Deegan All Stars. We're calling
Yeah.
them now. So it is definitely an interesting lineup for sure. Okay, now it's time to have a quick look at Cardiff. They sit sixth in the URC with 5 wins and a draw from their 11 matches so far. Coach Matt Sharrett is largely responsible for their improvement this season, and that, of course, got him the gig with the Welsh team for the rest of the Six Nations. His assistant coaches, Gethin Jenkins and Cornel Van Ziel, are holding the reins while he's gone. How do you see their lineup, KEEGO?
Yeah, I like the front row they're bringing. They're big boys. They'll fancy a shot, even though we've got a big front row there. Their second row again, they're big boys. There's one great head of hair on that team, and that's sitting there in the second row. So I think it's going to be great, a great upfront fight between these two teams, these two scrums. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't know much about anything else going on around the park. But again, like they're going to be looking at that Leinster team and saying it's not a quarterfinal, semi-final, final team. This is the just before South Africa team. So let's just go for it. Great coaches shared as well, really trying hard there. So they're going to go for it. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, I mean, one of the drawbacks of doing so well and having their coach taken up to the senior team is that he's going to bring a lot of the
Yeah.
players that he's used to playing with him. So it has kind of hurt them a little bit, but like they are sitting in that top 8, so they want to stay there, and they'll as always, all these teams coming to Dublin, they playing Leinster, whatever this time of the season, they do. They always have a plan, and it always, we're well used to teams getting off to good starts. It's just how the Leinster team reacts, and we'll see what happens there. There's lots of names in that team that you still would recognize. Cam Winnett, of course, was doing well. He played well against us. I seem to remember once for Wales in the Six Nations. Ray Lilo in the center. So there's a lot of names there. Callum Sheedy, number 10. There's a lot of names there that can hurt us for sure. Okay, quick look at the officials there. Andrea Piardi is holding the whistle with the 2 Irish assistants and an Italian TMO. The weather for Saturday afternoon in Dublin 4, it promises to, looks like it's going to behave, just cloudy, 12 degrees, 12% chance of rain, not much wind, so not too bad. I'm bringing my 9-year-old daughter to her first rugby game this weekend, so so hopefully we'd hope that the rain would stay off. It's a perfect afternoon kickoff for it, so hopefully that rain will stay away. And so now it's time, KEEGO, to have a quick look at the other matches this weekend. What match stands out for you?
Yeah, I think quarter to 8 tomorrow, Connacht and Benetton is going to be one I'm going to try and watch. Obviously, love Connacht, all that sort of stuff, but it's going to be a good game. The Italian club sides are performing well. They're really, really good, and Connacht is tough to go to at the best of times. So it's up to Connacht to get that ball, get that momentum going, and it'll be a great win for them if they can turn Benetton over.
Yeah, there's still a lot of fight around the middle of that table to get into the top 8. So they're all still in contention. The other provinces, we're recording at lunchtime on Friday. So Munster is still to play Edinburgh on Friday evening. Ulster hosts the Scarlets. All 4 provinces at home. That doesn't happen a lot in different matches. And of course, elsewhere in the competition, there's a couple of all South African matches. And the second place, Glasgow, keep an eye on them as well. They'll be hosting the Ospreys. Also this weekend, sees the continuation of the Celtic Challenge. It's basically a fight between 3 teams at the top of the table there. And both Irish teams have to go to the third team, which is the Welsh Gwalia Lightning. We have the Wolfhounds going there first on Saturday. So some interesting matches there. So now that's head on the block time, KEEGO. How do you see it going at the Aviva on Saturday?
As we say every week, do not listen to me. I think it's going to be, no, I did say Ireland by 10 to 12, so I wasn't far off last week, but I think, I don't know, like when I saw that team selection, it's a Leinster win. I think it's similar. I think it's 10 points in and around there.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you don't. It's not arrogance to say, because it's just like Ireland against Wales, and even Ireland when we played Leinster played the Ospreys the week before. You can call it arrogance by saying that Leinster and should be going for a bonus point win. With that, maybe Ireland should have been going for a bonus point win in Cardiff last week. Is it arrogance, or are you just being honest about what the form is? And I say Leinster. I said how important it is for us to get the seeding, so we do have to go for that bonus point. It's going to be crucial. Every single point we can get, even no matter how far ahead we are now, with that South African tour there, that's going to be tough. We need all the points we can get. So I think we are capable of it. It's a team we can do it, but it all depends on what kind of start Cardiff get off to and how we build through the game there.
One thing, just in relation to your arrogance point, which is a point I think we need to make. O'Driscoll was interviewed during the week about it. Like there are arrogant people. That's fine. They're everywhere. But I think as a province, as a country, as a human being, we have to verbalize these things. We have to say we are good enough. We have to say we should be doing this thing. It's not like I'm not saying I should be playing for the Chicago Bulls. That's not what I'm saying. But Leinster should be beating that team tomorrow. Ireland should have beaten Wales last week. Now, Wales played well. That's all fine. We should have won. It's not arrogant saying Leinster should be turning this team over with a decent score. So I think people need to understand that it's not coming out, we're not pulling this out of the sky. We're pulling this out of form. We're pulling this out of team selection. We're pulling this out of experience. This isn't football, as Nigel Owens would say. It's how the form dictates. That's not arrogant.
Absolutely. A lot of people, who are choosing to be offended by it are conveniently ignoring the use of the word should instead of will. I think that's there. We've all know how rugby can go. Okay, listen, we're going to leave it there, man. Many thanks for joining us again. What stand-up gigs do you have coming up?
So we sold out in Greystones last night. We're in the Dot Theatre tonight, and then we are building up to the big one in the Mill Theatre on the 28th of March. So tickets available for those 2 gigs.
Brilliant stuff. Of course, you'll find all the links to KEEGO stuff in the program notes. Okay, listen, thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. If you can, tune into Dublin South FM for the 5 o'clock news. You'll catch our latest Harpin segment there. Then be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are and leave a comment on our Facebook page after the full-time whistle. We'll, of course, have our wrap pod for you, which we record on Sunday night. Hopefully, you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.